Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow program. Thank you for growing with me on today. Boy, I tell you, God is, I am so motivated by the Lord. I am from the time I wake up in the morning until the time that I get ready to go to sleep. Because sometimes I'll fall asleep to my episodes, listening to my episodes and being motivated myself. I tell you, boy, I'm amazed because when we started out in August, when Chadwick Boseman died, um, we were on a journey then, and we didn't realize, as we going in this underground railroad headed towards greatness, headed towards genuine equality. We just don't know with these twists and turns God got us on, and the breakthroughs that are coming in, the break frees of strongholds as we going through out narcissistic behavior. You just don't know what God may have around the corner because, back then, I had no idea that I was married to a narcissist. I had no idea, honey. And even now, I sit and shake my head because I cannot believe that it's true. I can't believe that I was really married to somebody for 3 years who didn't care about me and who didn't love me, but yet he would say it all the time that he didn't love me. And I say, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I tell him he did. Yes, then he'll turn around. Yeah, I do. Like that. And I'm telling you, just the signs are all fitting now. But see, I'm capable of receiving it. And the Lord knows that. The beloved ancestors know that. So that's how the puzzle pieces are all starting to fall together now. Because when I met my husband didn't even have a car, honey. He didn't have nothing. I had 2 cars. I was working my job full time, taking care of my baby and my grandbaby, and doing great, until I met him. But it was a reason I met him, and that's why we on the journey that we on. I used to dress different. If you look at me 20 years ago, you wouldn't believe that that's me. I'll show you. If you look at me 20 years ago, I have truly been on a journey in my life of oppression, and how I came out on the end, because I used to walk around the way society said I had to look. I wore my hair the way society said I had to wear my hair. Yeah, I'm country. And and covered up my beautiful hair. I love my hair. My hair is beautiful. I hid it. I tied it down. I ran a heavy thread through it, breaking it and stuff. I'm telling you, wearing them heavy weaves. Then sometimes I'd take the string and tighten it up some more. Make it even tight. I wasn't ready to take the weave out. I'm telling you, some crazy old mess. Trying to make myself look how society said I'm supposed to look. And even with my husband, I did that. Because in my mindset, and he said this too. He said, well, you really are supposed to be just to pleasing me. It's as far as dressing wise, God always was first, honey. I would never. That's why I'm with the Grow program, because I didn't, God has always been first in my life. I always had a respect of the Lord. And when evil came face to face with me and asked me to turn my back on God and the Grow program, I politely said no. And the evil has no power. That's what showed me the evil has no power. It turned on its heel and walked on out the door, and that was it. So don't be afraid. God don't give us a sense of fear. He gives us a sense of power. So walk in power, walk in royalty, hold your head up high unless you're looking for money. So when my husband met me, I didn't look, I wore my, then I was wearing my own hair, and I wore my makeup, just very, a little light makeup or whatever. I didn't know how to do makeup like I do now, and I'm not doing it. The ancestors are doing it. They're the ones who fix me up, honey, and fix my makeup and guide me. I'm telling you, my steps are ordered by God. That's how I'm able to get on this podcast and tell you and give you the wisdom and give them the wisdom all day on Facebook and Twitter, bringing them people together. I mean, I'm really bringing some people together on Twitter. I'm really working Twitter. When Facebook is not too busy, I try to divvy up my time between both of them, pushing the movement, recording on a podcast, meditating. Where do I have time for foolishness? Where do I have time for TV? I'm going to tell you something. I'm married to the movement. I truly, truly am. The times that I was with a man and giving my love and giving myself, it meant nothing. Giving my body, it meant nothing. They still cheated. They still went and did the drugs. They still went and did whatever they wanted to go do, and left me alone. I didn't get no love. I didn't get hugs and kisses. I didn't get any of that. I was left alone. I was left to love myself, which I didn't know how to do. And now I do. I finally do. So I don't need a man. I found happiness within myself, me and God. I am loving my peace. I haven't had this kind of peace ever in my life. Ever have I ever remembered a time where I can cry at the sound of the birds. Ever. That I can remember that I can lay down when I get ready to. Ever. That I can decide I don't want to cook today if I don't want to. Ever. I'm always doing for somebody, helping somebody, there with somebody. Even I'm gonna tell you something. Even the time that I was away, that I went to the camp, that I went away, prison. That's what it was. When I went to prison, they you can't be alone in there. I mean, you go in the bathroom, yes, they got stalls and the showers are private and different stuff like that. But there is nowhere there that you can go and be alone. You can go walk on the trail, but somebody gonna come up behind you, And so I am so enjoying my quiet time, my me time, and not having to worry about what he mad at, worry about where he at, worry about when he coming home. Worry about if he coming home. Worry about what he doing. And I used to worry myself to death, crazy. When he showed me how to do that tracker. I hate that he even showed me how to do that tracker because it ran. I didn't have high blood pressure, but I'm telling you something. Thank God I didn't get it because that tracker used to drive me crazy, running up behind him, and picking up the phone every 5 minutes to look at the tracker, see where he at, how much gas he can get, and he did that on purpose. He was trying to drive me crazy, and you can't pay me not to track nobody because, I not even my grown kids. I don't keep track of them, they call me and whatever, and they fine. And I know they fine. See, but I have to keep track of the Lord. I have to keep a tracker on God because I need God in my life. I cannot live. I can't make it without the Lord. And and even the time, this last time when I was here by myself, I held on by a thread, honey, by a thread. You hear me? It was by a thread. But the beloved ancestors were around because I didn't have nobody. I didn't have anyone. The beloved ancestors were around me. I felt them holding me, telling me to hold on, keep going. Keep going. I heard them in my head, just telling me, just keep going. Cause see, I don't watch TV. I can't listen to that. I don't get what I need to know from the TV. I get what I need to know from the Lord, and then when I go on Twitter, that the news is everything breaking right there on Twitter, everything you need to know. Or I go check in a couple of other places. That's it, as far as that. But I really look to the hills with cometh my help. And so I always have had God first in my life. Always. God has always been first and foremost. And I was dressing different when I met my husband. I dressed like the religion say. I had the long skirts, long sleeves, modest makeup, and I always wore my hoops. I always wore hoops. And that's how I used to dress. And he told me you don't have to dress like that, which that was in fact true. That it is in fact true. You be you and be the best you in God. Just be you. Dress the way you want to dress. Don't dress the way religion tell you got to dress. Dress what's comfortable to you. Be you. Because God judges the heart. And so he had me dressing different, had me start putting on what he wanted me to wear. And that's what I did. When we went shopping, he would go with me to the women's section and buy what he wanted me to wear. And I wore my hair the way he wanted me to wear it. I'm telling you something. It was something, honey. You don't realize what you in until you in it, because then you start spiraling, just like a spiritual warfare. You start spiraling and spiraling and spiraling deeper and deeper on down and down and down, till I finally got so far down that he finally just turned around and asked me for my soul. He had said, hey, go on and give it to me. Turn your back on God and the GROW program. You here to serve me. And I told him no. I said, no. I am not here to serve you. I didn't come in the world with you. I came in the world with God, and that's who's been carrying me. I just met you. You better go on about your business, and then he turned and left. So that's where the Lord and the beloved ancestors showed me evil has no power. Don't be afraid of evil. When I heard about this house here, that it was built in 1895, yeah, my heart jumped a minute, but I said, no, I walk it with the light. I walk in power. There's nothing to be afraid of. God goes before me. And sure enough, this house so full of light is beautiful, honey. I go to sleep with the lights out. I keep one a little bit of light on back there, just in case my baby get up and have to use bathroom or something. But honey, I lay in here in the dark, and I just love it. I love this. Even at night, it's light in here, and it's beautiful. And I just thank the Lord for blessing me. And God will bless you. Just keep on growing in the Lord. Just keep on holding on to God's unchanging hand, because that's what I did, honey. And they held on to me. I'm telling you, God sent them. God sent them, and they held on to me when I was at my breaking point, because I was on the brink, honey. I truly, truly was. I was on the verge of a third nervous breakdown. And I know it that day, because I done been through it before. And so God, because evil was happy. Evil counts us up for slaughter. Oh, evil was happy to get another soul. Here come another soul coming my way. Just getting ready to suck me right on back down. After I done all the progress that I done made all over my life, being a warrior, being a conqueror of God, my strength got renewed. I came through again. Yeah, I was shaken up out of this last storm. This last storm shook me up pretty bad, and she was shaking a little bit. I didn't really want to eat. I stopped eating for a while. Who want to eat in a situation like that? I had to force myself to take bites of food. Who want to sit and eat? Who happy in a situation that somebody done put you in? And being a part of a spiritual warfare, and you done got yourself caught up in yet another mess. Yet another God got another storm that God got to carry you through. But God is the refuge in the storm. He says so. God is the refuge in the storm. Trust and believe in God. Stop being a part of the chaos, negativity, and drama equation. Remove yourself from that chaos, negativity, and drama. Because I'm telling you something. See, that's what God had to do. God went ahead and removed him. And once I was removed from the spiritual warfare, then I can look back on it and see exactly what happened, exactly how I got through, exactly where I was a ship lost and uncharted world. I see, I was truly lost over here, but God was the refuge in that storm. God is what pulled me through. God is what saved me. God is what brought me out. Praises be to God. I give God all the glory. I'm telling you. Yes, Lord. God put a calling on my life, honey. God put a calling on my life from a young age. I'm telling you, I truly felt a presence. I did, but I was going through trauma as a child. I went through some trauma as a child. It was a happy childhood, but it was some trauma that I went through. And we got to understand that even as we went through our childhood trauma, let's make it better for our children and the future generation. Grab hold of these children It don't matter who they are. Your nephew, your niece, or somebody, get a hold of them and start talking to them. You can let them listen to this podcast, honey, because I'm going to tell you something. If it's something that the children don't need to be listening to, then I will always mark it to let you know. If I got to talk about an experience that is very sad or hard to talk about or difficult, explicit. I don't want the children to hear that, and you won't hear me cussing because I don't curse. I don't use curse words. I don't use that type of language because that's not how royalty speaks. Royalty don't speak to people in that type of language. So we need to begin to transform ourselves. No matter what. I used to, when I get angry or something, it'd be a D word, a fly out or something like that. Or if I get real upset, yeah, I get on them, honey. Back then, I would get on them. They not, you see, I can get on one now, and if they make me mad, they done something, and I done found out something, yeah, then I get angry. But see, now God done delivered me of that. See, I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. I am truly transformed by a renewing of my mind because I am a legend, and all legends aren't famous. You got to remember that all legends aren't famous, but we have to rise. We have to begin to think different. You can't be like a ship lost in uncharted water, just like how I was, just out there, my sail folded and I'm just out there rocking. Don't know where to go, don't know which way to go, don't know how to get there, done forgot where I came from, just don't know nothing, just lost, needing the Lord, crying out to God. And there is the Lord coming in like a rushing wind, flying that sail back open, pushing you back, get back out of the way here. I got this. There the beacon of light. Here we go. I'm the beacon of light that's showing you the way. There you go. There the Lord. Gone on with God. Gone on with the Lord. Because the Lord going to show you the way. The Lord going to guide you from here. You don't need the light no more. Now you got God. God is the light. The light done drove out the darkness. Now you see the way to go. Now you see where it's at. Now you see the light. You see where we headed. We headed towards destination greatness. We headed towards genuine equality all over the world. We're going to rise from this oppression. We're going to help people over here. We're going to help people over there. Because see, if we don't, then what's going to happen to the world? What's going to happen to the future? The children are the future. I'm telling you something that you done forgot. Why you want to sit over there and frown on Africa? Africa is the motherland. And I'm telling you something else you done forgot. Barack Obama's father came from Kenya. So had it not been for him, we wouldn't have Barack Obama. So look, I'm telling you something. At one time, Barack Obama was the future. So now Barack Obama is handing it over to the next generation. And we got to do the same thing by taking care of these children. We got to come together and take care of these children. Just like the queen, the beautiful Miss Whitney Houston. She said that she believed the children are our future. They are the future. We got to grab the children and teach them the way, and show them right. I'm telling you something, my grandbaby at the park, somebody say something to him he ain't doing right, tell him, because then when you get done telling him, I'm going to tell him, stop getting mad if somebody want to tell your kids that they need to stop running through the store, because see, if they run into something, poke their eye out, then what? You going to be standing there looking crazy. It ain't hurt nobody to tell your child to stop running through the store. Then your child want to go tell you, so they said something, then there go a fight. For what? Just because they want to tell your child something right to do? You want to get an attitude? That's why the kids are out of control nowadays. Because see, back then, we wouldn't dare, go and rip and run through the store and act a fool and cut up and climb. We couldn't even sit in the living room. I'm telling you something. We had to go off to our room somewhere, go outside. And when you went outside, you stayed out. And you didn't rip and run back in the door. You came back in, you staying in. I'm telling you, they didn't play back then, honey. To this day, I'm telling you, my parents, to this day, I grew up with a fear of my mother. My mother can give you one look and that's it. You better straighten up. That one look will make you just want to slide. You see how SpongeBob just fall to the floor and slide on out? Yeah, that's how we did. Just fall to the floor and slide on out on that look. That one look, would do it, honey. It give you chills, make you think twice. See, that's why we got to grab these kids and start, reining them in. And don't whoop these kids. Use wisdom with them. Talk to them. These kids are smart. Whoopings come from beatings, and beatings come from slavery. We don't beat kids no more. We don't do that. We use wisdom. I'm telling you, my grandbaby don't like, when he love to listen to me when I talk. He love it. He love the podcast. He'll sit in the corner and listen to me talk. So the wisdom, he know he's so smart. But, you start talking to him and educating him and showing him and say, hey, look, if you do this, you see the consequence. This what's going to happen. This what's going, because one time, all kids do it. They go in the store and pick up some, a pack of gum, anything, candy bar, and walk out with it. So I had a real good talk to him. I told him I was going to run him down to the police department and let them talk to him about going in the store. See, he didn't do that with me. He did it with somebody else. Trying to be aggravating, because he know, don't do no mess like that with me. But I told him if I ever hear about it again, I was going to run him down there and let him have a talk with him, sit him down in the chair, put the handcuffs on the table, just have a talk with him or something. You got to use wisdom. I don't think I'd ever do that to my grandbaby, but I just want to tell him, that I might, that's a possibility. That's a consequence for your action. See, that's why we got to use wisdom. Use wisdom. Sometimes, I guess, back in the day, I don't know, they used to like to call it child psychology. This is wisdom, honey, and it's coming from God. It's coming from a right place. That's the heart. That's love. That's God. God is love. So we teaching the children in a godly way. We want to tell them how to be respectful. Tell them to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. See, that's what I'm working with my grandbaby. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. We got to teach our children to be respectful at all times, in the sight of God. That's love. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. I love you. I truly do. I love you. And we're going to get to a better place in God. We're going to get to a better way of living in God. We're going to rise and come together just as if we were in church holding hands. We're going to rise virtually, holding hands in love and come together in love. And just as the great force of evil that's going over this world right now, it has no power. The great force of God is getting ready to enclose this whole earth. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world, and we're going to drive that evil on up out of here. I love you.